Hi, I'm Adam, and this is Making Dollars and Cents at the Box Office, week 47. It seems the Wizarding World has plenty of magic left over after Harry Potter because Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them took the top of the box office with $74.4 million domestically, and with the international numbers factored in, it goes to a total of $218.3 million on its opening weekend, sending it far past its $180 million budget. And even though that's technically the weakest opening for a Harry Potter-related film, that's not particularly surprising since this is a completely new franchise that doesn't have a book series that it's based on, the way that the Harry Potter series did. The numbers show that the majority of audiences were actually older, like over the age of 30, and not it's under 18 as they were expecting, which isn't particularly surprising either because the old Potter fans came back, and once they get this new film universe established and invite the new fans in, the numbers are sure to just go up from here. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them tells the story of Newt Scamander, a curious but brilliant wizard out to learn about magical creatures the wizard community has deemed dangerous in an attempt to record his findings and stop the unnecessary killing of these creatures. But when his case of creatures breaks loose in New York City, it's up to Newt and his two new friends, an ex-Auror and a Muggle, or No-Maj in the American vernacular, to recapture them safely. This movie is basically just a setup for something bigger and more exciting down the line, and it's obvious by Rowling's screenplay that this whole capture the magical creatures thing is just a connect-the-dots skeleton plot so that she can tell the story that she really wants to tell, which is the rise of the evil wizard Grindelwald and how that all connects to the wizarding world of Harry Potter that we already know and love. Except that's not the real story here. Sure, it's great to get to know Newt and Teeny and Kowalski and to watch all these magical creatures terrorize 1920s New York, but the real dramatic weight is on the political side of things. A mysterious force is running loose in New York City, and Colin Farrell's character Graves, along with the American Magical Congress, is trying to get it under control before the No-Mages find out about the wizarding community. On top of that, there's this group called the Second Salemers who claim to know about the existence of witches and wizards and just want to exterminate them. Which to me seems like a pretty great tongue-in-cheek jab at all the religious fanatics who thought the Harry Potter books and movies were evil and promoted witchcraft practices. But really, if they paid attention to anything, they would realize that the books are riddled with biblical references and they promote themes of friendship and acceptance and self-sacrificial love, which are kind of a big deal in Christianity that claims that Harry Potter is evil. I'm just saying, but what do I know? I've only read the books multiple times, seen every single movie, and consider myself a huge fan, but whatever. Anyway, the film itself overall is a fun and safe blockbuster that really never becomes anything more than what it promises to be. Another Wizarding World movie and the beginning of another franchise for better or worse. I do want to add, though, that this is one of the only films I would advise not seeing in 3D. Now, normally I'm very much a proponent of 3D, but for this film it was wildly distracting and it pulled me out of the story multiple times. So I'd say skip the 3D this time, but I can't control you, I can't bewitch you and make you do it. So if you want to do 3D, go do 3D, I'm not going to stop you. But honestly, that's my biggest gripe. David Yates' directing is still just as accessible and easily digestible as it was when he was doing the Potter films. The score is reminiscent of all those old films, so you get to hear those songs on the big screen again, and the cast is top-notch. They know when to be funny, they know when to be sweet, they know when to be corny. Nothing in this movie really blew my mind, but it wasn't really supposed to. Instead, it made me want to go back and watch it again and again, if not to get a better handle on the plot, just to spend more time in that world. But lucky for us, we get 4 more of these movies so far. So this thing's gonna turn into a beast all its own in no time. And moving on to our less than successful other newcomers, Edge of 17 and Bleed for This only brought in $4.7 million and $2.3 million respectively, which is kind of surprising considering their casts and also the fact that independent film has been having a heyday of a year this year. Then again, I think a lot of their failure can be attributed to the fact that everyone's still getting their art house fix from Arrival, which is still blowing minds and garnering glowing word of mouth, and the fact that Moonlight got a national release this weekend. On top of that, Doctor Strange and Trolls are still snagging moviegoers and are at the numbers 2 and 3 spot respectively, so now it's really not the time for a coming-of-age sex comedy or a drama about a boxer. We'll save those appetites for the post-holiday Oscar season. Looking ahead to next week, we finally see the release of Moana from Disney Animation Studios, which, you know, that studio that keeps cranking out movies so good everyone thinks they're Pixar, Tangled and Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph. I'm so excited, and this marks the second release for Disney Animation Studios this year after the wildly relevant and deeply profound Zootopia. Moana tells the story of a girl with special ocean powers who has to summon the demigod Maui to save the Pacific Islands and her people. Judging by early glowing reviews, a non-whitewashed cast, finally, a delightful soundtrack, and the charming, funny, heartwarming, colorful trailers, Disney Animation has another classic on their hands. Moana is my bet for what's going to be taking the top of the charts this holiday weekend, but even if it doesn't, I'll probably be seeing it twice. This weekend also sees the release of Allied, directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard. It tells the story of a star-crossed romance between two people on opposing sides of World War II. Yep, another World War II movie for the holidays. Swell. Even with the talent behind this film, it looks like another lukewarm war romance Oscar grab, which is a shame considering Zemeckis has given us such classics as Forrest Gump, The Polar Express, and one of my favorite films of all time, Back to the Future. It's also written by Stephen Knight, who has kind of a spotty track record, but some really high highs. So maybe this film will prove me wrong, but I honestly think we're probably gonna forget about it pretty quickly. And speaking of forgetting, Bad Santa 2 stumbles into theaters this weekend to give us another sequel nobody wanted, since the fan base of the original 2003 film is 13 years older, and hopefully wiser than to spend money to see Billy Bob Thornton don the red and white suit, get drunk, try to rob stores, and wait, is that seriously what these movies are? Like that's it? Wow, cool. So edgy. What a bad Santa. And it's directed by Mark Waters, who, besides Mean Girls, has a filmography ranging from forgettable to abysmal. Hopefully audiences will hold on to that holiday comedy money so that they can spend it on Office Christmas Party or Why Him coming later, because even though those don't look particularly classic, they've gotta be better than Bad Santa 2, which looks like its sole purpose is to crush your holiday spirit and destroy your faith in holiday comedies. We'll also see the release of Rules Don't Apply, a romantic comedy period piece set in 1958 Hollywood starring Lily Collins, which looks like the pleasant yin to Allied's yang. If romance in the 40s and 50s sounds like your thing, you've got a doubleheader this weekend. That's all for this week. Yeah, we have some potential duds heading to theaters, but we also have Moana, and I'm really excited for Moana. And there's Fantastic Beasts, Doctor Strange, Trolls, and Arrival. Plenty of stuff for your family trip to the movies post-Thanksgiving dinner. So if you like this video, hit subscribe, like or comment, tell us why you're thankful for movies, and we'll see you next time on Making Dollars and Cents at the Box Office.